Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka... And we are back with another Twitter thread. Today we're talking about the hidden costs of playing a good Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And I'm not talking about money. Frequently playing a powerful deck in Yu-Gi-Oh feels like sleeving up 40 of the most powerful cards in the format. But occasionally, you're sleeving up 39 of those cards, and then on the way out the door, your mother tells you, bring your little brother Scrap Golem along, and you have to put into your strategy one of the worst cards you've ever seen. I'm asking you today what are the unfortunately absolutely necessary parts of some of Yu-Gi-Oh's best decks. And I've of course begun with the Fridge himself. 5-star monster, reborns a Scrap. As a result, you are playing him in many decks that play Scrap Wyvern, but unfortunately, sometimes you draw him. What do you all come up with? I can't tell you how much Mermail players were willing to give up to not have to run this card. Right up until Neptibus was released, I was telling friends I'd take a Gen X Undyne effect that increased my life points by 1 just to never brick on this asshole ever again. There were like paragraphs written justifying playing Undyne or not Undyne. All of that discourse could have been summed up by the following: you don't have to play controller if you don't play Undyne. These days we're happy to play controller because of course it can be normal summoned off of Gen X Repaired. Dyer's got a great one. Holy. Remember when everyone was playing this shit in addition to Raging Phoenix, and then one day we all just realized, wait, Phoenix does everything I want out of this and more, I can cut this. I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, Amblo Whale is a good enough card that it does see a lot of play, especially in like Fire King variants of Snake Eye, but it eats up a really valuable piece of real estate. The day that one professional player was like, you can just cut Amblo Whale and just end on Zealantis, I was like, oh, thank God. In Gem Knight FTK back in Master Rule 4, oh my God, and it's not about Garnet, you played Landfoe or Proxy Dragon as a generic light link to you could make with anything in order to Gem Knight fusion into Seraphinite in order to continue the combo. That's hilarious, but was not the only place this card was playable. In fact, I remember when Landfoe came out, a significant number of people were like, finally, my deck works again. Any of the first wave of links could be here. Okay, they could, but Landfoe was not in the first wave of links. We had good links by the time this came out. Anything for the arrows, though. We would have killed for these arrows. Dymax says, this one sounds like a joke, but I swear it's legit. Near the tail end of Agov, I landed on a really good Ogdo build, but it had a massive Typhon issue. After weeks of desperately looking for alternatives, I accepted this card is the best Typhon out for a 4-axis Ogdo deck. It is a reptile for Nunu Lock, a water for Dragite Serpent Strike, a vanilla for Dracoback, a format Zeus, 50 more attack than Typhon, 1 extra deck slot. Oh, I apologize, Dymax. I was not familiar with your game. Chronograph Sorcerer is the only reason you'd ever want to play Time Gazer in a Pendulum deck, but you really wanted to play Chronograph. The best example of an engine around a bad card by far. You know, we have a new one of these now. Can you imagine when they printed Cursed Bamboo Sword? Broken's probably over there like, what the fuck? Trevor Allen says, the odd side of tier. Shout out to Emerald Tortoise. This is a water aqua type to blend into the strongest deck in the history of the game. You would play it because it was your little Garnet for Rainbow Bridge, which would search the field spell. And King of the Swamp, who for some reason Master Duel player saw banned. I can't believe anyone ever played this card seriously. Doomlord isn't great, and really never should have been played, and yet he did, solely and specifically in Teledad, because in addition to being the 5th D-draw target, he was the 4th Rota target, and would occasionally out Stardust Dragon. Ugh. The Brigade of Normal Monsters you have to play for engine requirements. Yeah. Pick your poison on the 2nd normal on the off chance you opened Spirit Gates instead of Beckoning Beast. I can't believe they're playing Chaos Summoning Beast. I haven't seen anyone play Chaos Core yet. I hope they don't decide. Raykora has a good one. The best part of a true tier 0 format like Dragon Ruler is all the hyper niche dog people run for scenarios dreamed up by the deranged. Colossal Fighter to beat Maxi. Well, what if we need to pierce over a token? The level 8 Synchro Pool is good enough. Bro, trust me, it comes up. Legitimately have lost games, plural, to Swift Scarecrow. Earth Machine decks have played this bricky asshole for years. One of the worst Garnets you can possibly draw in the game. Someday, they will invent a way to put Ancient Gearbox in your extra deck. An amazing upcoming one. The fact that Fabled Lurie is about to be like one of the best cards in the game is the funniest thing ever. Just absolute dog shit ass card, but it sure is a light fiend that can be special summoned after discarding. In 2018, Dark Warrior, the successor to Goki, worked by making Isold for Armageddonite. To do so, they needed 4 equip spells to play alongside the actually good Phoenix Blade, 5 in case they drew one. The bar was very low. Arfaduter and DDR were fine. Autonomous Action Unit was not. Do you want to know why Moon Mirror is the 4th one? It's because you could equip it to your normal summon and then link it off, and then it goes back into the deck. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's funny that, like, Gimmick Puppet is about to be a semi-playable deck in a format where you're giving your opponent a Gimmick Puppet and locking them. And the Gimmick Puppet players are like, oh, we don't even really want this. Teller Knight is a decent deck. It doesn't need to play stuff like YUGIOH, does it? Well, this beats Win to Pass. Put it in. This card just checks a lot of boxes. It's a Red Eyes. You can get it off of Black Metal Dragon. It lets you chain block Romulus. It lets you get to 2 6s. The funniest part of this card, though, is that you send Driver, so the deck is still addicted to playing Gamma, even though it's at 1. Hop off Red Eyes Circular. This is your circular. I was watching some 2016 Yu-Gi-Oh! And man, do you remember when FK Kozmo played this thing? It doesn't do anything, and it was played because it was a level 3 that let you resolve Fire King Island, and if you drew it, your whole combo was dead. Not your whole combo, but a portion of it. The reason you played this one is because it's a 3, so, like, you can overlay with a Soar Trooper for Gram Pulse. Like, there's just, like... Any Bell player will tell you having this card in your hand before POY sucked monumentally. If it's the highest one you run, it's a Garnet that turns off your field spell special summon effect. Thankfully, we fixed this problem, though sometimes you have to minus by making the fusion. Terror Incarnate just shows up like a bad penny, but I will say, Bell is a deck that just plays 5 cards that can be lovingly considered semi-Garnets, so you're gonna have bad hands. These two fill the same niche in Edison, a generic level 6 synchro you can use to ladder without spending a Bryo or a Goyo. I have regrettably sleeved up a ton of copies of Flameveil or Ziquius, but I'm gonna go to bat for Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth here. I've played a lot of Tengu Plant in preparation for the Ultimate Time Wizard 3v3, and this card is unironically frequently better than Brio. Even under a card like Skill Drain, it attacks over Stardust Dragon. Like, what do you want? He's crazy. Oh, this card was everywhere in Dino when the Yangzing build was semi-common in Zoo format because it was the only good level 1 Dino tuner. Pre-Archosaur, people were just hurting. It's honestly kind of crazy that Kozmo ended up being a playable TCG exclusive deck when this guy was a staple in the Archetype's first wave of support. People were showing up to locals and they were like, I'm going to stake my entire tournament victory on Farm Girl direYGO Honest. That's my plan. It's Farm Girl direYGO Honest. And they won! It worked! Ava has a couple. The Skyhawk special. This fucking card that you have to play so your Ultimate Slayer can get links. Valeraphon for Naturia Beast setups. And all that dog shit we had to play with Speeder until we got good synchrons. I'm from the future. We don't get Small White Woman before Nats. Fiend Link players play this. You make it off Tour Guide Rhino Warrior to get to Fiend Smith combo. This card shoots up to $57 because it has 3 printings. Hold. Wait. Oh no. All right. Whew. What we've learned today is that even good decks aren't immune to bad cards. Now let's not get into bad duelists.